Good evening, Manoj. Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody is doing well and had a good week. It was a very
Good
interesting.
evening, Mukund. How are you?
I'm doing well. How was your week?
Week was terrific. Of course, I was out for the major part of the day today, but and I missed the major rally today. I started the rally today. I did participate at the start of the day, and then I just moved out because I had to do some personal work. But man, what a rally today! What a rally! And I have a lot of things to share, but we'll talk about it later about during the day. But yes, it's amazing. The week was amazing for me from all perspectives.
Yeah, it was a good week for me as well. And this morning, at the lowest point, I think, of the Nasdaq is down 77 points. I said, this is
Okay,
fun. And I
that's
called
nice.
it and said, this is moving up. This is moving, very strong market moving up. And from
Right,
there, negative 77 to a plus 206 was a phenomenal
right,
Nasdaq. So I was very happy.
exactly.
I did very, very well. I did
Right.
mostly day trades and I got out of it. Did okay. Good. Awesome. Let's go through
Yeah.
our agenda for the week. We're going to start with obviously the indices. We're going to go through the TLT. We're going to go through the dollar index and see how we're doing. How are we doing on the indices, Manoj? I think the Nasdaq did well. S&P did okay. Dow and IWM are still challenged.
Yep, they are still challenging. But let me share and say exactly what I am looking at the chart. So let me start with the weekly chart first and just move away all the drawings and focus on just one single candle of the week. The candle says everything. What the candle is dragonfly doji. Dragonfly doji normally forms at the bottom, whether it is a daily, whether it is a weekly, whether it is a monthly, or whether it is 4 hours or 1 hour. Normally, lower time frames do not give you proper indication. But if it is a higher time frames, especially on the daily and the weekly, then you definitely want to capitalize on it. Dragonfly doji on a weekly, that too at the 50 weeks MA, and if you look at the daily, it is at the 200 MA. You do not want to miss on the rally when it is going forward. I would not be surprised if it goes all the way towards maybe 4,500 as well. It may or may not. That's something different for us to see. But based on the weekly charts, yes, it has a couple of weeks of bullishness to it. I would be looking somewhere around 4,500 when we may see whether it wants to come back down or not. And when we look at all these drawings that we spoke about last week, let's remove these two. We spoke about this cup and handle pattern last week. This was a critical trend line that we broke down this week itself, and we came back up. Everyone was talking about that it's a big breakdown. We broke down here. That was on Tuesday. We rallied, did not cross it past. We somehow rallied, and today we just crossed past it again. So I would call it as a false breakdown. And the reason I am calling it a false breakdown is normally breakdowns sustain for a few days. If it is on a daily candle, it sustains for a few days and then goes back for a back test. This is not a back test. This is actually a false breakdown. And if it is a false breakdown, then chances of it is rallying towards all the way towards the upper end of the channel are very high. So we are talking about two things here. One, the trendline false trendline breakdown. Second, it rallied from the lower end of this channel, and I won't be surprised if it is rallying all the way towards the upper end of the channel, which is around 45.30. From the weekly, again, 2-3 things in going in for the bulls. One, of course, the lower end of the channel, which is the handle of the cup and handle pattern. Second, it has come back up above the supply zone, which is now the demand zone. It has come back above the 50 MA, and again, the weekly candle is a dragonfly doji. I cannot be stressing it as much as I can. This is definitely bullish for me. I would be bullish for the next couple of weeks at least. Whether it goes beyond that, I have no idea. I would look somewhere around 4,500 and then see whether it wants to go beyond that or not. Whether it results into a breakout and goes all the way towards 5,000, I don't know. I will go by step. This week is a deciding moment for me. Next deciding moment will be when 4,500. So we are definitely going towards 4,500 is what I see on the charts. And beyond that, we will see. So there was one reason when I actually participated here, when markets actually, you want to say something, Mukund?
Yeah. Can you, for a lot of the people who are viewing, show the Dragonfly Doji and show some example, maybe 1 or 2 times where it has done the same thing before?
I will have to look in the past where it has. So there was one particular moment in Dow Jones. Let me see if I can spot that. Okay.
It's okay to just show the Dragonfly Doji and say, here is what that looks like. Because
So if you look at this particular candle, it was. Let me just move this thing. So if you look at this week of 11th July, it is very similar to Dragonfly Doji. Not exactly, but it is close to calling as a Dragonfly Doji. And what happened after that? Next couple of weeks, in fact, next 4 or 5 weeks, it continuously kept rallying up. Especially if it is happening on the weekly time frame, you cannot be missing on the rally.
Awesome. Good deal.
Of course, one very clear thing that I want to mention here is normally it should be followed by a next candle, which is a bullish candle. So next week should be bullish, should close on a bullish candle, green candle. If it is not closing, that means it will be a false reversal as well. I don't see those chances. So there are 2-3 reasons for me to be bullish on. How do you satisfy those patterns? Those, whether it is a Dragonfly Doji or a hammer or inverted hammer, there are certain other things. For a hammer, it should be as resistance. For inverted hammer or for a Dragonfly Doji, it should be as a support. And we saw the support. Give me 1 second. We saw the support. What was the support? The one channel, and of course the trend line which was broken. Yeah. Where did we rally from? We rallied exactly from the bottom of this particular channel, and then rallied all the way to close at where exactly the week opened at. And it cannot be any more bullish than this. It cannot get any more bullish than this. So I would be very clear. Next week, definitely bullish for me. Beyond that, also looks bullish to me, because if next week we are closing bullish, then definitely we are closing above this 20 EMA, which is at 43.80. So definitely closing above that is what I feel for. Whether markets reverses something, and we have CPI, PPI also coming next week. So markets might do something different, completely different, which we have not seen so far. But to me, as of now, it looks bullish.
Awesome. So that is the SPY. How are we on the QQQ and Dow Jones?
Let's go to QQQ, which is pretty similar. QQQ, which is pretty similar. The pattern is not the similar. I mean, it is cup and handle. It did not even go to all the way towards the 50 EMA on the weekly, and the candle that has closed it as is an inverted hammer. Again, bullish formation for me. It has closed back about 20 EMA, another bullish signal. Again, it may not take much time to close past it, because the weekly is even giving me enough bullish signals for me to be bullish on the for the next week. Daily would definitely follow in the next couple of days. So I'm bullish on the Nasdaq as well. If I have to go towards Dow Jones and RTY, which is Russell 2000, inverted hammer, bullish, rallied from the lower end of the channel, bullish. Daily still below 200 EMA, so that's a risk for Dow Jones. So I wouldn't be very surprised if Dow Jones still lags in the rally. So ES and the QQQ, which is now S&P 500 and Nasdaq, are bullish for me. Dow Jones not so bullish. Whether it may go all the way towards 200 EMA and then somehow falters around that. So maybe next week or next couple of days or 3 days remain bullish for Dow Jones, and then it will stall, is what I feel. Next, Russell 2000, which is IWM. Daily, not so bullish. Weekly, not really great looking chart, to be honest. Although one key thing that has happened for the bulls, or not so good for the bears, is it has closed exactly. I mean, it went down below this particular trend line, which I talked about last week as well. This trend line has been holding since September 2020. It held today as well, this week as well. It did go below this on the daily chart for 2 days and then close just about around here. So if Monday also it manages to close past it, I would say that it is trying to rally. Normally, as I spoke last time as well, small caps normally participate in the rally very late. So it should be and the S&P 500, which should be leading from the front for the next couple of weeks, and then we see whether Dow Jones, which is industrial stocks, and small caps want to participate or not. So if I had any small caps, I would just hold on to them, and I would rather maybe try and move towards tech stocks and S&P 500 stocks, which would lead from here for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, it also has been the weakest of all the indices, to be honest.
Absolutely.
IWM, right?
Yeah.
When you find strength in NASDAQ, and if you remember on Thursday, or no, what is Wednesday? All of the mega cap Magnificent Seven just rallied like crazy. And then today, of course,
Absolutely.
a lot of the smaller stocks as well. When I say smaller, it's still tech stocks. I was seeing very good green candles for Zscaler, CrowdStrike. I was seeing a very good candle for Palantir. It was just off the charts. And I said in the morning, I'm going for these seven, and it just played so well today. How are we doing on the dollar index? Why should we worry about it? And how are we doing on treasuries?
So there are three different things that I want to talk about. I also want to talk about crude oil. So I had posted on Twitter about at least 2-3 weeks ago that all those who are bullish on crude, they need to get out of it, because I was saying all the signs of crude topping out. This was somewhere around 19th of September when I had posted that probably we would hit somewhere around the supply zone and we would top out. This is exactly what happened, and crude was the signal for markets to start probably bottoming out, because crude was signaling for inflation, because if energy prices go high, inflation definitely is a signal, is a risk that Fed looks forward to. Crude topped out. It is now at the lower end of the channel. We talked about treasuries last week as well, that it is close to the upper end of the channel. We are exactly around that. I don't know whether it is topping out yet, because still there are no signals that it wants to top out. If I take a look away from daily to weekly, it is still far off from the supply zone, which is close to 5.5%, 5.14. So I don't know if it 5.25. I don't know if it wants to go to all the way towards 5.24, 25. But so far, it does not give me any signal that it wants to come down. It is following this channel very closely. Whether it expands the channel, whether it wants to come back down from here, I don't know. And the dollar index, and the reason I want to talk about it. Till today morning, in fact, I have posted one key. I posted a tweet in the morning today that it has been 12 or maybe 13 weeks that dollar index has been positive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It could have been 12th week. It would have been 12th week, and today we closed it as a gravestone doji candle. Gravestone doji on the weekly is a bearish signal, and where did it happen? It happened at the upper end of the channel. So definitely not a good sign for dollar bulls. It has some legs on the downside. So any dollar bulls out there, be very careful. Chances of this channel breaking down are very high for me. I would assume that this channel is breaking down. Probably we are heading towards our lower end of this, maybe towards 50 EMA on the daily. So maybe 104, something out of that, something like that. Over to you, Mukund.
Thank you, sir. There were three stocks that I was watching in particular. I was watching Road. This is a construction company stock. So the reason is because I traded it somewhere in the last couple of weeks. I started watching it. I traded it only very much, much more recently. In the last couple of days is when I started trading it. And I just did a very short, small trade. I didn't do it long because I don't know this market very, very well. Construction is Construction Partners, Inc. That was one. The second one was a company called Celestica. CLS is the ticker symbol. I'll go through all of them. And the third one is Jabil Circuits, JBL. My network is going to be a little bit slow. So if it takes too much time, I'm just going to say I'm going to move on from here. Okay. My overall network seems to be a little bit of a challenge. CLS, let's go through CLS first. CLS is been a stock that I've been following for quite some time. Celestica is actually a semiconductor, you could call it in the semiconductor space, but they're actually a contract manufacturing company more than anything else. And my network is still slow. Okay, Manoj, I think I'm going to give it 1 or 2 more seconds. And if not, I'm going to go through.
Do you want me to share a CLF chart?
Yes, please.
Give me 1 second. Do you want a weekly or a daily chart?
Start with the weekly and then we'll go to the daily.
Okay. And let me know if wherever you want. Oh, wow. What the heck is it?
Look at that.
My goodness. From 12, it started rallying from 1058 to all the way to 2642.
26.
Wow.
I started following it at 22.
Oh, okay.
And I bought it at 23, sold it again at 26. This thing has got a beautiful, on the daily, it has got a bull flag pattern. On the weekly, it's got an even better pattern. I think if you look at it from if you go to the monthly chart, this is a stock that is in a multi-decade high, not a multi-year high.
That's a
decade high.
big
2002 was the last time the stock even got to this range.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I won't be surprised if it, rallies all the way towards, at least around maybe 42 kind of a level.
Yeah, I know that. That's
some
why
resistance here, some supply here.
Watch the stock. Then
some
the
supply
one,
maybe around 40. This particular level, which is 27.
Yeah, it's a very, very good company. I like
Celestica.
I think the fundamentals also were decent compared to before, which is why I liked it. The second company is Road, ROAD. Can you bring that up? Start with the weekly again, and then we'll go to the daily.
Okay.
So Road went IPO fairly recently. It's 2019. Did the very, very high whole thing around COVID and everything else because of infrastructure plan came down, and then the infrastructure Biden plan came up, and then it is a beautiful chart. I think it has got room to go all the way to 40.
Yeah, it is. The channel that I've tried drawing, it has actually broken past that as well. So there is definitely no resistance that I see here.
Yeah, it's got all the way moved to 45. That looks, it'll have some moves up and down, but look at the beautiful flag, bull flag that it formed, and then another beautiful green candle on the daily as well. Look at the beautiful channel it did a very good bull flag pattern after earnings. Look at the green, beautiful candle on, and then after that, a beautiful flag. Just absolutely beautiful. Bought it at 36, holding it at 40.
That's nice.
Very, very good stock.
The only thing that's that could worry the bulls is it is now entering towards the upper end of the RSI, which is again not a really great selling signal yet. But yeah.
Okay, and the last one is JBL.
That's something to keep in mind. Yeah.
JBL, Jabil Inc. Jabil Circuits was what it was called. Another very old company, has been around for a long time. Has done a lot of moves up, down, sideways, everything, but beautiful channel. Falling initially from, but just look at how nicely it's set. It does one of those pattern things. It goes a very clear stage to stage one. This is a very predictable, good stock. Beautiful candles. Bought it at 110, holding it to 129. Actually, I sold most of it.
That's my observation. JBL, although looks decent, and it is at the multi-year resistance on the trend line, and very, very overbought RSI. So I would be careful on JBL, especially on the monthly.
110, sold it at 129. I don't think I'm going to keep it for long. Again, remember these days, right? I was just telling you, all this week, I'm doing maybe max of 1-2 day swings. I'm not doing 3-day, 4-day swings.
Yeah, that's a good trick, actually, to be honest, because markets may not be the same. It's so volatile that some stock rallies today, it could not be the same for after 2 or 3 days. So if you're getting money 10, 20, 50%, whatever you're getting, just go out.
Yeah, the stock I'm watching this week is just one, Vertiv. VRT is the ticker symbol. I'll give you while you bring the chart, let me give you the fundamentals around this. The company went SPAC. So about $5.6 billion in valuation. 2022 or 2020 is when it went SPAC at 5.3. Now it's about 15 billion in valuation, doing about $5-6 billion. Low gross margins, even lower net margins, but extremely good, strong play. After you go to the weekly first and then you go to the daily, even through this downturn of the last 2 months, 6 to 8 weeks, it has held up after the bull flag very, very nicely. It's a little bit stretched, but look at how nicely tight candles. It's had very, very good action through the last few days as well. Didn't go down too much, hasn't gone up way too much, but the flag and the pattern that it's forming after this has been so beautiful that I think it is ready for more action. It's gonna go down to the 36 time frame, I think. Sorry, not time frame, $36 range. But then I should expect it easily to start moving up from there.
Okay, I would like to caution here, Mukund. So again, upper end of the megaphone, one. Second, overstretched RSI, at the same time negatively diverged RSI on weekly as well as daily. So I would be careful. Again, if you are holding it and if you are carrying it for just 1 or 2 days, there is no problem, because you are watching it far more closely if you are doing it for just 1 or 2 days. But if you are doing it for maybe 5 days, 7 days, then I would be careful. But you are watching it closely than me, because I don't watch this stock. You are muted, Mukund.
I think I'm watching it very closely because I've been watching it since 32. I love this stock. It's so predictable. I've been traded here like 4 or 5 times. It's a good stock. It's a good stock to very short, quick trades and get out.
Okay, so let me come to the stock that. Okay, so let me come back to the stock that I am watching it today, this week, is Palo Networks. The reason I brought this up is one of our viewers who actually watches our videos closely. He actually tweeted me and asked me my views on this. I did not see it today because I was out. When I was looking at the charts, and when I saw the tweet, I said, let me look at the tweet. I look at the chart. When I saw the chart, I've told him, hey friend, I would actually cover it in the call today. Looks really bullish to me. Inverted head and shoulders, and almost at the upper end of the neckline, almost at the neckline. Next week looks bullish to me, and in this bullish time frame, if I see something which is worth trading bullish, I would definitely play my hands into it. I would definitely love to buy this stock around this breakout, which would be around say 250 to 51, and chances are it would head all the way towards the upper end of this particular trend line resistance, which is around. So it should be around say 270, 275 kind of a thing, and then it might try to backtest or whatever. But to me, the chart looks bullish, but I would wait for the breakout. I think you have been tracking this stock for a long time, Mukund, right? And you're muted. Yeah, you're good now.
I love Palo Alto Networks. I love this stock, and I've been holding it for a time. Next week, we have a bunch of, on Friday, actually, we have a bunch of financials earnings. JP Morgan, BlackRock, Citigroup, Wells Fargo. What's your sense for, okay, if we have good earnings from banks, last quarter, remember, we had good earnings from banks, and then, of course, everybody else was overvalued, so we had a little bit of a pullback. This quarter, I'm expecting, decent earnings from the big banks. JP Morgan, Citibank, I think they'll all do very well, not exceedingly well, but well enough for everybody to say, okay, we had good earnings. But I'm not very confident about their stock, though.
Okay, I would like to talk about JP Morgan, because last week I had shared that I'm bearish on JP Morgan. I did book some profits. I had some profit, I think, at Tuesday or Wednesday when I booked out of it, and I did not expect it to go further down. It did go all the way down towards 141 kind of a level, and then it bounced back. Let me just hide all my drawings and show you what exactly is the candle. Do I need to tell you what exactly is the candle? Again, Dragonfly doji. Weekly, bullish. Bring back all the drawings. What does it tell you? It tells you that it has closed. It has managed to stay above 50 weeks EMA, and it has managed to break down and then come back up into the same base which it had broken down off. So it broke down off this particular base, broke down, went back in, which means it would probably head all the way towards upper end of this particular base. Whether it wants to go back up after that, I don't know, but it definitely would challenge this particular trend line and upper end of this particular base. So probably around 148, 150 is where it should go. And again, it has earnings as well on 13th October. So let's see.
Awesome. Manoj, this was long, this was good, but it was a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Always fun to be on call with you.
Absolutely. Guys, please subscribe to the channel. Leave us your comments. I think Manoj responds to every comment, and he loves it when you guys drop a note. BN Cruz, one of our good friends, every time he comments, a couple of other guys also do it all the time. Thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to meeting you, to talk to you next week. Until then, let's talk on Twitter. Thanks, Manoj. Bye.
Thank you everyone. Thank you, Mukul.